Hi, I'm Dr. Caitlin Maynard. I'm an assistant professor of instruction in biology at UT Dallas. I got my PhD at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. I studied cardiac development and disease, and I also did a postdoctoral fellowship at UT Southwestern studying pancreas development. But I've been teaching biology at UTD since 2019. I teach mainly biochemistry lab, also intro bio lab and molecular cellular biology lab, as well as a developmental biology lecture course. I had to summarize it in one term. It would be developmental biology. I started my research career at a pediatric hospital in a basic research lab studying cardiac development. So we were looking at how model organisms develop, how their hearts develop in the embryo. So we used mouse and avian embryo model systems to study the basic function of the heart and how the heart cells develop. And that's useful not just because it's interesting to biologists, but also because we can learn, if we learn and better understand how the heart develops normally, then when it goes wrong in for example, patients with heart defects, or in cases of heart disease, we can apply our knowledge of how the heart develops correctly in order to look into ways to better treat heart development or to find new treatments for heart disease. And I did a similar thing looking at pancreas development and disease at UT Southwestern. And I still talk to people about developmental biology all the time. I make my students talk about it for a whole semester in a lecture class I developed here at UTD, senior level lecture class where we talk about developmental biology. And I always talk to the students about translational medicine. I know a lot of biology students are pre-health professions, and you can apply your insights that we learned in developmental biology to the humans. And that's a big way that we find cures for different diseases is by looking at basic model organisms and then applying that knowledge. So one thing I would recommend to students is I've learned that no matter what class you're in, 2 years after you take that class, you're not going to remember much of anything about the class. Unfortunately, even my class. But you can, at the beginning of the semester, think about your goals for the semester. Think about what you might be interested in. For example, I've had a student whose cousin had a birth cardiac defect. And so her end of the semester project was about researching that genetic defect. And so if there are things that you're interested in, I know I as a faculty will always be open to students bringing that up to me, maybe focusing on that for their term project. So you can really personalize these courses into what is interesting to you and what you might want to learn about for the future. I've learned a lot since I've been teaching full-time about having a growth mindset rather than having fixed mindset. And so as an instructor, I try to foster this in myself and in my students, this idea that intelligence isn't fixed, that there aren't smart people and not as smart people, that we're all learning all the time. And fostering a growth mindset is a really great way to embody that. And so a huge part of that, in my experience, is persistence and perseverance. And certainly was the case for me in undergrad, and then definitely as a graduate student, not giving up is a huge part of the battle. And so whether you're coming in to UTD as a new undergraduate student, a transfer student, I recommend reaching out to your faculty and then teaching assistants if you have them anytime, but especially if you're struggling. We really want to help. We're here to help, and rather than feeling like you're alone. And all the faculty are wanting to help students, so we're happy to help anytime.